So all addiction is connected. I know a lot of the time it feels to people like when you have 100 different things that you're struggling with, right? Like you're smoking weed, you're drinking, you're jerking off, right? You think to yourself, well, I need to quit one. I need to kind of cross the bridge. I need to knock one thing out and then I can move on to these other things. This is a narrative that I've heard not just from individuals, but from therapists, from doctors, actually. I had a conversation with a public health doctor. Well, I guess he was a surgeon. He had his training in surgery, but he is currently a public health doctor in Massachusetts. And he said the same thing to me. Like, I was having this conversation with him a couple years ago about me smoking weed and some other things that I was struggling with. And his kind of advice to me was, well, pick one and really focus on overcoming that one thing. And I'm not saying this is bad advice. I think in fact, actionably, it's good advice. I think more than anything in this video, I'm offering you some reassurance, especially if you struggle with, like what we talked about in the last video, kind of overthinking and over processing of this sense of what's my path? What exactly do I do? How exactly is following that path going to create opportunity for me in other areas, right? But it's easy for this feeling like you need to plan, you need to understand what the perfect strategy is, to prevent you from experiencing or having faith in the reality of what's actually going to happen to you. And I want to give you some feedback of what I've been experiencing over the last couple months of having not been smoking weed, which is that my natural ability to hold myself accountable to not doing things that I know, right? Consciously, I know I don't want to do is so much easier. And I'm a little bit nervous to kind of get into the specifics of what those things are, right? But we'll keep it simple. It's like sexually and then regarding other substances. Now, I'm really lucky to have never had, a really severe struggle with anything other than weed substance-wise. But that doesn't mean I haven't done other things, right? And so I want to kind of put across this understanding to you that if you do struggle with multiple addictions, whether they're severe addictions, whether they're a little bit like just decisions that you wish you didn't make once in a while, I want to give you some, supporting words, shall we say, some comfort that it's actually a whole lot easier than you think once you get that ball rolling. And I think it comes down to the fact that, when you weaken your dopaminergic feedback system, like when you give yourself cheap dopamine, right? You give yourself that artificial spike in positive, pleasure chemicals, right? Positive hormones and whatnot. You experience a subsequent drop, right? And then when you experience that subsequent drop, it's so much more difficult to hold yourself accountable not to do other things. So that's why they say, like, there's like this old saying that, what is it? It's like cocaine and heroin or something go together like peas in a pod. It's like, and so somebody said something to me the other day that I thought was really funny. They said to me, we were having a conversation about weed, and they said to me, they're talking about masturbating. Like, they're like, man, I also struggle with, masturbation and, watching porn. And they sort of made this connection to me. Like, I find that when I smoke, I'm so much more likely to then go on to watch porn, to jerk off. And I can't tell you just how accurate that is for so many people. Maybe it's not masturbation, maybe it's drinking, maybe it's video games. Like maybe you really binge video games, or maybe you binge anime or something, right? And I guarantee to you that you will find that if you make just the smallest amount of progress in one area, like if you really struggle with drinking, or let's just stick with weed because that's what most of these videos have been about the last few weeks, the last few months even, right? If you struggle with smoking weed and then you also struggle with something like watching porn, I guarantee that you'll find that if you just make the smallest amount of progress, right, get to that 2 week mark, even get to that 1 week mark, and you find yourself more emotionally balanced. And maybe that's really the prerequisite, because it's different for a lot of people. For me, it was really the first 9 days that once I hit that 9-day mark, I felt completely different. I felt so much more present in my own mind, so much more capable of, dictating my own thoughts and actions and emotions even. Once you hit that mark of balance, you will find that it is so much easier not to partake in these other things that you don't want to partake in, right? And so if you find yourself kind of juggling the sense of like, man, I want to stop doing this, this, and this, I want to stop doing all of it together, but everybody tells me I've got to pick one thing and make progress in that. Maybe that's true. Maybe it is accurate that the best process really is to pick the thing that you struggle with the most and try to make the most progress in that area. But you will probably find that because you already know that you're done doing this, because you already know that all of these things reflect on your character in a way that doesn't resonate with you. You don't want to do these things anymore. Once you kind of gain that emotional, spiritual, energetic ownership over yourself once again, it will not be nearly as difficult to avoid these other things. It has gotten to the point for me where it's just a simple acknowledgement that I don't actually want to do this thing. I have this impulse in the moment, maybe, right? Like if I'm hanging out with friends and it's like there's alcohol there, like, yeah, I have this impulse in the moment, like I wanna drink. But it's so much easier for me to choose not to. Now, granted, I've never really struggled with drinking, thank God. But that doesn't mean that the impulse isn't there, right? Now, for me, and this is something I will talk about more in the future, is like sexual impulse, right? It's so much easier for me right now just to be like, I don't actually want to do this. And I've made a massive amount of progress. And like I said, I'll talk about that in future videos. I don't know if I'm really, I don't know if like I'm ready to come totally clean about what that struggle has been like for me personally. But I know so many of you can probably relate to that, right? Whether it's sex, whether it's just jerking off, whether it's like porn in and of itself, right? Whether it's the whole combination. You will find that that experience of, in the moment I have the impulse, I'm like, damn, my conscious mind is like, I know that I'm just re-entering this loop once again, but then that voice of addiction is like, just pushes the conscious mind to the side and is like, let's fucking go, right? That experience will dissipate for you. You will not have that experience of overwhelming inability to control your impulses anymore, because slowly but surely you are gaining back your ownership, and it's because you just focused on quitting one thing. All of these things go together, right? All of them kind of cascade into this nasty soup of lack of control. But all you have to do is just start making progress in one area, because everything else will become easier at that point, right? You will gain that self-control back. So just a quick little piece of advice for you, just a quick little, support for those of you that are trying to do multiple things at once, right? You got a lot of things that you're dealing with. You got a lot of things that you want to change. And I know you're feeling like, man, I'm juggling all of this. I'm trying to find out what the best strategy is. The best strategy is literally just to take the first step. I know I hit that so often. It's probably going to become fucking annoying for a lot of you guys, but that's the reality, right? It's literally just, what is the one thing that you can do right now to make just the progress today? Because once that progress stacks into 1 week, one month even, you will find that your ability to control yourself, to control your impulses, not to give into those impulses, to control your focus, to stay committed to, excuse me, got a frog in my throat or whatever. Okay, sorry about that. Maybe edit that out. Just kidding, I don't edit my videos. Anyway, the bottom line is it all cascades. It cascades in both directions, right? The lack of self-control divulges into more impulsive decisions. It divulges into more smoking weed, more jerking off, more drinking, whatever it is, more watching, binge watching anime. Not that there's anything wrong with anime. Anime's dope. Anime. But, it cascades in the positive direction as well, right? So once you start making just that much progress in controlling your impulses, that much progress in building up discipline, it makes it easier and easier to do more of it until it gets to the point, and this will happen to you, right? It gets to the point where it's almost hard not to be disciplined. It's almost hard to give into the impulses, because your conscious awareness of what that is going to yield long term is so much more real. It's so much more obvious. And it's even easier for you because you have the experience, right? You have been through hell of your own creation, right? And it's clear to you that if you do that again, that's what you'll experience. So, for lack of annoying you guys by coughing and wheezing and humming over and over again, I'm going to end this video here. Appreciate all of you. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Like this video, hit subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you know when my videos come out. If you have any comments or questions, drop them below. I will get back to you. You can also send me an email. My email is below this video. Join the Discord, get some homies around you, and it makes it a little bit easier when you have some community. So much love. Namaste, my friends. Take it easy.